Where can you find Vietnamese independence stories? Imagine walking through a museum or flipping through a history book and discovering stories that shaped a nation. These stories of Vietnamese independence are scattered across many sources, waiting to be uncovered. You can find them in archives, museums, and academic publications that focus on Vietnam's fight for sovereignty. They tell the tale of how Vietnamese people resisted French colonial rule, fought Japanese occupation during World War II, and later challenged American forces during the Vietnam War. Many stories center on key figures like Ho Chi Minh, who led the Viet Minh, a broad nationalist and communist coalition. These stories highlight how the Viet Minh united different groups to oppose foreign control. You can read about Ho Chi Minh's Declaration of Independence in 1945, a moment that marked Vietnam's official assertion of sovereignty after Japan's surrender. These accounts are often documented in official government records, memoirs of veterans, and scholarly books about Vietnam's history. You will also find stories in historical documents from the French colonial period. These include reports on uprisings, political organizing, and armed struggles against French forces. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Vietnamese resistance grew stronger as people fought to regain control of their land. These stories continue through the struggles against Japanese occupation during World War II, when Vietnamese fighters fought to protect their homeland from a new colonial power. After World War II, stories of independence expand to include the First Indochina War, which lasted from 1946 to 1954. This was the conflict between Vietnamese forces and the French colonial government. Many of these stories are preserved in memoirs, photographs, and academic studies that detail battles, political negotiations, and the sacrifices made by Vietnamese fighters. You can also find oral histories from veterans and civilians who lived through these times. These personal accounts give a vivid picture of the struggles and victories that shaped Vietnam's path to independence. Museums dedicated to Vietnamese history, such as the Vietnam Museum of History in Hanoi, display artifacts, documents, and exhibits that tell these stories in a compelling way. In addition, university libraries and online archives host collections of documents, photographs, and recordings that explore Vietnam's complex history. These sources include the writings of nationalist leaders, reports from colonial administrators, and interviews with those who experienced the conflicts firsthand. Understanding where these stories are stored helps us appreciate the rich history of Vietnam's fight for independence. They reveal how local resistance grew into a nationwide movement, influenced by global conflicts and ideological struggles. Whether through official records, personal memoirs, or museum displays, these stories continue to inspire and inform future generations about Vietnam's journey to freedom.